Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today we are just jumping right into Road to Ranked, and the streak of Talonflames continue. I feel like we've gone up against one in every episode for however long now. We're just closing it out with the Hydreigon Braviary team we've been using for the last couple of days. Once again, this was built by Edu, was able to hit number 1 on the ladder. Edu was able to hit number 1 on the ladder with it just a couple of days ago. So learn more about it in the description below and check out the last couple of episodes. We've had some really fun games with it, and yeah, let's just close out our time with it today. So I feel like we went up against a really similar team composition recently, but I don't remember if that was on Road to Ranked or when it was one of my games that I played for practice. But Talonflame's tough. It's like the pseudo Trick Room stuff here is really interesting. Cause how do I play against? I mean, I think Ferrothorn actually has to come out here because of the Trick Room stuff. Hydreigon is pretty good off. I mean, like, Hydreigon Primarina can kind of roll through this team if Talonflame doesn't come out. Even if Talonflame comes out, I guess we can max Primarina. So I'm going to go Hydreigon Primarina, Ferrothorn, Arcanine. I feel like Hydreigon Primarina helps out often against these like Trick Room-oriented teams, especially with Dusclops. So we'll see how it plays out. But as always, if you enjoy Road Train, please show support by leaving a like in the video. I'd really appreciate it. And question of the day, I want to know what your favorite typing is in Pokemon. Let me know in the comments below. I think mine would definitely have to be water types. I was always the the guy that picked all the water type starters and just a lot of, water type Pokemon that I've enjoyed using throughout the years. So it is Talonflame Duraludon. Okay. I mean, you would think this is just a Tailwind max Wormwind into Hydreigon, right? It makes the most sense. So I'm leaning towards a Protect turn 1 into a Switch out turn 2. As I max Starfall Duraludon. That seems okay. Duraludon is not exactly the most fun Pokemon to go up against, though, I will say, for this team, because you match up pretty well against the Hydreigon Primarina Braviary core. I mean, if it's not EV Duraludon, Starfall is a 2-hit KO onto it. So it's depending on how bulky the Duraludon is here. My opponent also might read into the Protect, right, and just go Tailwind Max Lightning into Primarina, but I guess the question is, does Max Lightning two-shot us? Obviously, they won't have Electric Terrain on the first Max Lightning, and then I would just reset the terrain on the second. Part of me was thinking of not even maxing Primarina, just Hyper Voicing here, but then it's like I give my opponent a free switch in. If they target the Primarina and I call that incorrectly, I kind of just lose. So, let's see. I think like, Dusclops would have been very tough to lead into this, especially because, like, there's potential Max Darkness from the Dusclops, or sorry, from the Duraludon, Taunt from Talonflame. Like, pretty much every Talonflame carries Taunt. So it's not like I can get Trick Room up. Plus, my opponent has Trick Room stuff in the back. I don't know. But this lead was, like, relatively obvious, I feel like, as well. So I feel like I should have covered for it a little bit better. Yeah, so there's Tailwind. That's expected. Could I have led Braviary Primarina? Maybe. They Steel Spike into Primarina. Good call. Very good call. Okay, well played. That's going to be bad news for us. That was one of those, like, high-risk, high-reward gambles where, like, if I, just doubled up on a Duraludon there... Oh, this Life Orb too, okay. If I doubled up there, we pick up the KO. I think we're in such a fantastic spot. That's oh my... That was almost a one-hit KO, wow. Okay, so it's not doomed. But... It's a nice play on my opponent's end. I mean, what do you do here? You Steel Spike, right? I mean, Hydreigon protected, so you do get a free target into that slot. Steel Spike did how much? 138 damage? Which means we should survive another one. So if we just go out into Arcanine here. And just Starfall. The Brave Bird Steel Spike shouldn't KO us. Unless they actually have Max Lightning and they just didn't go for it on turn 1. But that would strike me as a little bit odd because it's not like you need the defense boosts, and why not get more increased damage output? Nice play though. Like, if I made the hard read and just attacked with Hydreigon, maybe I should have. I actually think I should have because, yeah, it's like, if you knock out Hydreigon, well, if I get that Starfall off, look how much damage it is. And if Primarina remains untouched after turn 1, we're in really, really good shape. So, yeah. Okay, they max guard. It's fine. I honestly think the play here is to max guard Primarina, Flare Blitz, Duraludon. It's just so dang obvious, but I think it's still fine. Yeah. Primarina's looking real scary right now. And this is like the classic like late game Talonflame where it's like you've got your Tailwind up, you've broken your Gale Wings, and it's Intimidated right now, so like what do you really do with it? The reason why it's like even though Duraludon's likely to max guard there, I don't want to knock out Talonflame is because if I just KO it there, it gives my opponent a free switch in. And this is a classic example of, hey, my opponent set up Tailwind, let me waste their turns right now. Wow, they switched Duraludon out. Urshifu, maybe? To Gigalith. Interesting. Not what I would have expected as the third switch in here immediately. Was there even Urshifu on that team? I feel like I'm getting all mumbo-jumbo. Okay. Well, I don't mind that, although once again they read into my... my opponent's read into these protects brilliantly, so hats off to them. But I think it's still fine. I guess the question is whether a Brave Bird KOs Primarina now. We want to KO that. No, I don't think it does. Not with the Intimidate. Does Gigalith outspeed us? Like, if you're min speed Gigalith, the answer would be no, but I don't know if you're min speed. I can't burn you because of Will-O-Wisp. Really good switches. I think we go Arcanine into Ferrothorn here. I wonder if Hydro Cannon KOs. I mean, we should try to KO Talonflame. I'm actually going to Hydro Cannon Talonflame because Ferrothorn... I don't want to Hyper Voice and activate a weakness policy on Gigalith right now. I really don't. But, yeah, my opponent's read my protects perfectly, so hats off to them. Okay, Gigalith protects. So I could have Hyper Voiced there, but whatever. It's fine. Yeah, just another... I was very worried about the hard read of going for like a Fire-type attack there. We should survive this. Yep, perfect. Yeah, and we feint to Sand, I'm pretty sure, as well, which is great. Okay. So there's Duraludon in the back, but Tailwind is stalled out now, which is good. Duraludon honestly did not do as much as I was worried about it doing. Fortunately, Primarina feints there was the exact amount of HP, too. So Tailwind peters out. We can go back out into Arcanine now. Get that Intimidate off against the Gigalith. I've got, you know, max attack Power Whip right now to throw into... Yeah, there was an Urshifu in the back. Okay. Thought I was going crazy for a second. Unfortunately, terrain is up and I can't protect in front of this thing. If we knock out Urshifu, we should win. Yeah, and it is water. So, I know you can check the type of Urshifu by stance. I always just, like, want to double check and not make any mistakes. I think I'm just going to Power Whip here. And Flare Blitz it. Because if we knock out Urshifu with Gigalith Intimidated, Hydreigon Ferrothorn should win this. Because we just Earth Power into Duraludon. And Ferro should win the 1v1 against Gigalith. Because I can go knock off into Power Whip. Okay, they just Surging Strikes, but that's fine. As long as I hit this Power Whip, I think we're fine. If we miss, though, I think that's it. We lose. Because I don't have enough damage for the Urshifu then. Okay. It's going to Superpower, but we should survive that with the Intimidate. Yeah, Ferro takes that like a tank. It's just max HP, no defense, Ferrothorn, I believe. Okay, let's see if we can hit. It's pretty much down to this Power Whip. Okay, it connects. Does it do enough, actually, is the question. Nice. Okay. Yeah, that should be game then. Because now we bring in Hydreigon. Hydreigon is up against the Duraludon, so we can just Earth Power into that slot. My opponent's win con here is to go for a Protect on the Duraludon, crit Superpower into Hydreigon. I think that's pretty much their only play. But I can't risk it any other. Like, I think leaving it to a potential crit is fine. Because I don't think I one-shot the Gigalith with my attacks on Hydreigon anyway, so it's like, there's no point in even going for like a really crazy read or anything. Oh, I could double Protect here, actually. That seems fine. Yeah, the double Protect just scouts out for if my opponent goes for a Protect or not. Because, like, even if they go for it, even if they don't go for it, they're still going to need a crit to win this game. So this is very low risk, especially because I just stall out Sandstorm, which, yeah, there's a Protect under Alon perfectly. Okay, good. Because I think, yeah, at this point... Oh, they actually went for the double themselves. Okay. I feel like that never really accomplishes much. Because you need to get the knockout onto Hydreigon because it outspeeds the Duraludon. So this is kind of the nature of like why it can be tough to run really slow Pokemon with really fast Pokemon, right? Like my opponent had now they need a double and a crit. My opponent had, you know, Talonflame Duraludon, that's obviously like a more Tailwind core, pretty fast Pokemon, but then Gigalith doesn't really fit into that at all because even under Tailwind it's still super, super slow. But I guess the other question is what would my opponent have brought over Gigalith? And they had Amoonguss, so maybe that, but I actually wouldn't have minded Amoonguss because of the goggles. So, Primarina was just overall fantastic here, if you look at what my opponent brought. They're actually going to go for the crit onto Pharaoh, which makes sense. Yeah. I think it's in this position, it's better to target the Hydreigon, because the Sand is going to expire, so then Earth Power just one-shots you. We actually do miss the Power Whip, but that's fine. The one we needed to hit was against Urshifu, because if we missed that one, I think we probably lose the game. So it is scary relying on like base 85 accuracy attack to close out the game, but it is what it is. The correct play here is just to double protect to heal back more with Ferrothorn with leftovers. Like that's how you just want to play Ferrothorn endgames. I honestly don't know if Life Orb Bird Power KOs the Gigalith, so I don't want to risk it. The correct play here is to just Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse is definitely a 2-hit KO. And they're gonna go for Superpower onto Ferrothorn anyway. Yeah. No, actually, we can just win the game off Earth. No, okay. Here's how we could lose. If we Earth Power, it doesn't KO. Yeah, I mean, like, there's no reason to not play it safe here. Because Dark Pulse Gyro I actually think might be a KO anyway, especially with the defense drops. What I was gonna say is the way we could lose is if we Earth Power, it doesn't KO the Gigalith. Gigalith gets a weakness policy off. Rock Slide crits the Hydreigon, flinches Ferrothorn. Like, are the odds of that really, really slim? Yeah, but you still have to respect it, right? Although, honestly, even with the crit onto Hydreigon, I don't know if it wins. So, maybe we could have just, attacked with both there, but might as well play safer if you can. Yeah, from the range Hydreigon was that, I didn't even think a Rock Slide after we proc policy with the crit KOs us, so we probably didn't need to play that safe, but yeah, I didn't know the calc there, so I'd rather be more careful. Okay, we're up against Orbeetle, so another Talonflame. This obviously screams gravity, like you probably like Talonflame, Orbeetle, Tailwind, G-Max Gravitas, and then you have Dracozolt, like a lot of sleep-inducing stuff in the back. Hypnosis Gengar, Hypnosis, Milotic, Dracozolt, regular Dracozolt functions well here. So do we go with Trick Room then? You know what could be a really interesting lead here is Braviary Dusclops, bait them into taunting Dusclops, and KO the Talonflame with Braviary. Huh. I think Arcanine is a must not bring in this matchup, given that my opponent has the Milotic. So I'm leaning towards like Braviary, Dusclops, Primarina, Hydreigon. Because if we get Trick Room up, Primarina also probably wins. But we don't necessarily need Trick Room. We can go Tailwind too. I haven't gone with this lead before. I kind of want to try it out. It might not be the best, but I think it could work in this matchup. The only problem is if my opponent does like lead more defensively. Actually, their entire team is rather offensive. I don't even know if there's much of a defensive lead other than like Milotic plus Talonflame. I don't even know if I would consider that defensive. Looks like it's Gengar and Orbeetle. Okay, so decent spot to be in for the Braviary. They're gonna find the Scarf here. Sash policy. I wonder if it's like self-proccing policy. That'd be really interesting. The policy here is scary, I'm not gonna lie. Because, like, I want to Tailwind and switch out here. Or I could just Dynamax and Airstream immediately. Or, the third option is to Tailwind and Nightshade. I don't know. I don't want to risk switching in because I would take so much damage on the switch in, but the one lead that would have beaten this would have been Hydreigon. Well, actually, I don't even know if Life Orb Max Darkness KOs Orbeetle. If it doesn't, then there's not really much we could do. I feel like there had to have been a better play than what I did here, though. At least I can have Primarina to set up terrain. So this is interesting. They Icy Wind, but I think that also indicates that it should be a double up onto Braviary. This is interesting, though, because what I can do now is bring out Hydreigon and Max Darkness into Gengar for a KO. Should I have just gone for Trick Room? I guess based off how my opponent played this turn 1, maybe. Oh, they targeted Dusclops. Huh. Now, this is super interesting because I can actually max the Braviary now because they've given me a Defiant boost. How crazy would that be, right? I really want to. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to Dynamax, I'm going to Airstream, and I'm going to switch out into Primarina. Because we have Tailwind up right now, so we're faster than Gengar. They could Max Guard Orbeetle and Icy Wind again, but the thing is, we'll still outspeed the Orbeetle. I don't know, maybe Orbeetle's not really that big of enough of a threat where I actually need to like give it that much respect. But we actually we haven't done this in all our time playing with the team up to this point, and I want to showcase it as like a potential play that you could make. So let's see, do they Max Guard? They probably do, right? I could have made the really like aggro read and be like, you're gonna Max Guard and target the Gengar here, but I think even if you Max Guard here, it's still okay for us. I don't know. We're at +2 attack right now, so definitely should just wreck it. And it's like if you don't protect here, we kind of just overwhelm with offense now. And they don't Max Guard. Nice, let's get it. Alright, +2 Max Airstream is a KO. Nice. Let's go. It's so rare to be able to like Dynamax him on outside of after like using the Scarf move immediately. So I'm really glad we get to showcase that mechanic in today's episode because it's a really cool component that you can or like strategy you can go with this team. But that could be a problem. Because of that, it's not necessarily over. Hypnosis was obvious too. It's not like that was a surprise, but the upside at least is that Primarina is pretty speedy right now. But I think Dracozolt comes out now for my opponent. Oh, it's Talonflame. That's bad news for them, right? Here's what they're going to do. They're just going to Tailwind, and Primarina should be slower than Gengar, and then Hypnosis, I think. But I think we have to eat it up and just try to burn some sleep turns right now. What if I protected this turn? No, I like burning a sleep turn immediately, because then if I wake up the next turn, it's just like GG instantly. Should I red into Hypnosis? I'd rather knock out Orbeetle there, honestly. But Hypnosis was definitely coming. Oh, they didn't Tailwind. We outspeed Gengar right now, right? Like, we have Tailwind plus the speed boost. Why did they not Tailwind? That's surprising. It was Hurricane of all moves, too. And that's just a double KO. Nice. So even though Braviary only got 1 attack off, like, that was a big attack. We got rid of their Dynamax threat, right? So now it's... yeah, really good shape for us. So that's one cool thing you can do with this team as well, if you are new to playing with it. I don't get why Dracozolt didn't come out earlier. Because then I can't knock out both of your Pokemon and my Braviary's asleep. And I'm really surprised to not see Tailwind there, but I guess they were just going for the confusion onto Primarina and saying, hey, if you get hit in confusion, I can Sludge Bomb you. So I'm curious, that actually makes sense, because even if you Tailwind, Gengar doesn't knock us out, right? But that's why it's really high risk to go for something like a Icy Wind in front of a Braviary. So, yeah, that is one cool thing you can do with this team, which is really neat. Now, we used Max Airstream instead of Max Strike. Both are obviously great speed control methods, and if you're against something that's, you do neutral damage with both, then you want to prioritize Max Strike. Like, very few people, I think, often even expect Max Strike from Braviary, just because people run, like, typically, like, Tailwind, Brave Bird, Close Combat, Protect. So having the fourth, option in Giga Impact / Max Strike means you do so much damage. Like, people normally just expect Max Strike from, like, Porygon Z, right? But this Braviary has it as well, so, yeah. Some interesting games here for sure. Yeah, that last game was really scary, but I think the lead, honestly, like the icy, as soon as my opponent needed to double up on the Braviary, I think, because as soon as they didn't show enough respect to it, like, I don't know if they forgot about Defiant or just weren't that worried about it. Like, what they might have been thinking was like, oh, if you Dynamax and you Airstream, well, you're just going to proc my weakness policy. I get a lot of damage off with Orbeetle. But I feel like we won that less off solid. I mean, it was just off the turn 1. Like, we had a really, really good turn 1, and it didn't look that good based off the leads, so we take those. I also wasn't expecting the icy win. I feel like Gengar, you know, in a position like that would often want to click something like Taunt, so maybe he didn't even have Taunt. The thing about Gengar is it gets access to a lot of good support moves and offensive moves, you know, Taunt, Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb, Icy Wind, Will-O-Wisp, just to name a couple. Trick Room even, you know, we've seen that a little bit throughout the years. So that's something to always watch out for, but yeah, solid set of games so far. And I think if anything, it should just highlight the consistency of this team. I feel like I haven't been playing like incredibly, but this team has a lot of cool options that you can go with. Okay, third opponent of the day, another Dracozolt. I mean, wait, this is pretty much just the team from the Players' Cup, right? I think Antonio Sanchez Servan had, just with Gengar thrown onto it. Don't remember what was over that slot. Amoonguss or Rillaboom, maybe? Yeah, that's what it was. Okay, so this team is really bulky. It's really, really, really bulky. How do I play this matchup? Braviary, Hydreigon? What in the world does that do? I mean, Hydreigon's not bad here, but there's that Sylveon, right? So, like, I feel like Ferrothorn needs to come. There's just so much bulk here. It's really tough to break through. I don't really know if I need Tailwind here, right? Oh, man. I actually think maybe we use Arcanine to outbulk them with Will-O-Wisp and Snarls. Let's try Arcanine, Hydreigon, Ferrothorn, Primarina. I think the Corviknight is what scares me the most here on the opposing team, because a lot of the damage from this team comes from Primarina, but the Gastrodon is able to bypass a lot of that. And it means that Primarina becomes so much worse of a Dynamax option here, which makes it a little bit trickier for us. So, let's see. Gengar Dracozolt, okay. Is that good? Not necessarily. That's actually probably the most offensive duo my opponent could have went with, given the team. I honestly expect Icy Wind here, so then the question is, do you Quake into the Arcanine? I think the safe play is honestly switch out into Ferrothorn turn 1 and Protect, because if we stall out their Dynamax, our Hydreigon can sweep through afterwards. Alternatively, I could have just doubled up onto the Dracozolt, but if there's Icy Wind here with dynamic speeds, you just lower my speeds immediately. By switching out Arcanine, I get to reset the Intimidate. Zolt is not max, though. That's a good decision. That's a really, really good decision. I mean, we do get Ferrothorn out, though, so it's actually not awful. Question now is this Gengar Will-O-Wisp. What do you go for here? Sludge Bomb. Okay. I'll take that. I will take that. I'm gonna go... Now the problem is, do you have Mystical Fire on the Sylveon? I think the odds of it having it are honestly pretty dang high. So, like, I want to Protect here, switch Hydreigon out into Arcanine so then I can click Snarl. We might be in it for a long game. It's just the nature of these teams, or this specific matchup. Nice switch turn 1. I like when my opponent did not get baited into attacking with Dracozolt, because if they did, we kind of just snowballed the game after stalling out their Dynamax. So that was well executed on their end. Okay, so no Protects from their end this turn, no switches either. There's the Icy Wind, okay. What are the odds we go against Gengar back-to-back? That's interesting. I love Gengar, though. It's one of my favorite Pokemon to use in early VGC 2015, if you remember my videos from way back then, so I'm a fan. It does have Mystical Fire. Oh, dear, 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 dear. Okay, what do we do here? I want to Snarl with Arcanine, and probably switch Ferrothorn out now into Primarina, but these switches are so obvious. Like, as soon as my opponent reads into one, it's not good. It's not good. But I think I have to go for this, because, like, Ferrothorn is too important to give up right now. Especially because I feel like you have to have Gastrodon as your 4th Pokemon if you're my opponent here. But they might have just read into that. Okay, Sludge goes on Arcanine. That's so much damage, though. And we get Poison. That's not great. That's a good play on their end, though, right? Like, why wouldn't you go for something like that? It's safe. It's consistent. Poison does suck a little bit, because I think now we might faint even after the Snarl, whereas if we didn't faint, then we could have just Flare Blitz KO Gengar here. So it's not good. The goal... it's tough, because, like... Is it Throat Spray? Oh, man, it's a lefty Sylveon. Interesting. Okay. I think another Sludge Bomb does KO us, admittedly. I don't feel good about maxing Primarina. I mean, I really want to just Hyper Voice and Snarl here. Because if you knock out the Arcanine, at least you give me a free switch. But they do Sludge Bomb Primarina, which is what I want to see. Now, we're going to take a ton of damage here, though. So I don't know if that's actually worth. Let's see. But we should knock out the Gengar, I think. Calm Mind Sylveon. This is such a throwback to 2015. I don't know if any of you remember my Worlds team from that year, but I ran Calm Mind Sylveon with Chesto Rest. Okay. Intense start to the game. I think we both have been making relatively safe plays, which makes sense. Sylveon may be a problem, though. That actually is going to be a huge problem. Because Hydreigon does not do anything against it, so I need to probably Dynamax Ferrothorn and... Oh, Corviknight's the last one. Interesting. Corviknight, which means I could Will-O-Wisp here. But if you're Lum, does that really accomplish anything? Oh, this is such a tough defensive core to break through. I'm going on into Ferrothorn and Will-O-Wisp Beam, but if Corviknight also might just outspeed us, right? Because we're at -1 speed right now. Maybe I had to play towards just a Ferrothorn late game, but I don't see how I beat both of these right now. We miss Will-O-Wisp. That's unfortunate, but might have had Lum anyway, so I can't really say it actually mattered. Go for Roost, okay. Would have been nice to see the Lum just to confirm it, but it is what it is. I think this is how we win the game. We bring out the Hydreigon right now, we Dynamax the Ferrothorn, and we Steel Spike into Sylveon. But the thing is that we don't have enough offense in this late game. Like, we really don't. But if I at least conserve Hydreigon, I can launch that Life Orb Draco Meteor into the Dracozolt, although I don't even think that KOs. Nicely played. I think, like, just good execution, and this is a really tough defensive core to break through. But my opponent's Gengar was actually able to do so much damage in the early game, too, so... I think here, if you're my opponent, you should just Mystical Fire the Ferrothorn, or even go crazier and Dynamax Sylveon. Actually, that would be a game-winning play on there, and if they just Dynamax Sylveon Max Flare... Nice. Yeah, they recognize that. Or maybe, is this Corviknight or Sylveon maxing? It's Max Sylveon. Well played. Very well played, dude. How do I break through Sylveon in this game? Because the problem is it's not just Sylveon. I think we maybe had to go Trick Room, Dynamax, Ferrothorn, but then Corviknight, it's like the combination of Sylveon plus Corviknight. Plus Gastrodon. Like, I have like one Pokemon that I want to use to deal with another specific Pokemon, but then like there's just so many. But maybe they Starfalled here for some reason. Yeah. I don't think that Will-O-Wisp miss matters at all, to be honest. I probably should have Snarled just to get another special attack drop on the Sylveon. But I think this game was kind of doomed after my opponent played so well with the Gengar early. And Max Flare. Props. Ferro does tank that, though, I mean. But Steel Spike's not going to KO in return, right? So... And with the Spadef boost on Sylveon, I just don't do any damage. So what if I Max Guarded... I can't touch Sylveon with Hydreigon. That's why Hydreigon... Wait. That did so much damage. Hold on. I honestly thought Flare would do more into Ferrothorn. That maybe gives us a shot. And it's Policy. Oh no, sorry, it's Leftovers. I got it too ahead of myself. Okay. Well, Steel Spike did a lot there. Steel Spike did a lot. What do I have in the back again? From Arena. Plus one's Def. I don't think Earth Power or Dark Pulse KOs. Yeah, I mean, Dark Pulse is what? 120 from stab and then resistance. We go Earth Power. They might read into the Max Guard here too. Actually, I think if you're my opponent, you Max Guard Sylveon here for lefties. But they don't. Okay, if Earth Power KOs, we win. Okay, not win. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, but... Oh my god. And they Starfalled. Well done, well done, well done. Calm Mind Sylveon, that's super cool. Like, the Spadef boost made it a disaster. And my opponent made the right target selection in back-to-back turns there, too. I guess it's not over, though, because we do get Primarina in for free. If we were Iron Defense, I think we'd have a shot, but I don't even... maybe Moonblast probably KO'd Sylveon from this range, right? You would think so. So, what do I want to do? But Primarina is still low HP. Yeah, I think it's over. We needed a crit there onto Sylveon. That's honestly one of the best Dynamax Sylveon usages I've seen. So, really, well done. What I could have done there was protect. I already protected Hydreigon the previous turn. So I needed to Earth Power the first time and protected. Also, I didn't expect Max Flare to do so little into Ferrothorn, and I probably should have. So, because of that, I should have just attacked with Hydreigon and said I get guaranteed extra damage on a Sylveon. But this was me going up against the Max Sylveon, which I was not expecting until it was too late, maybe. I'm gonna Overgrowth, because if we get some healing back, maybe we could still win this. But I don't see how we beat Corviknight without Iron Defense here. And they Max Guard. Nice. That's definitely the correct play, because then you can just Brave Bird into Primarina now. Yeah, so I think my opponent played this fantastically. It's like, even if I read into all their plays, it's still really tough to win this, but at least, like, the Dracozolt committed the Dynamax. So what I needed to do there was protect Primarina. But the thing is, like, because they have Roost on the Corviknight, I just don't see how we would win. We don't do enough damage, right? Because it's like Ferrothorn against the world. And we don't have any way to boost our defense, nor do we have Leech Seed. So, even if I protected there, I KO the Sylveon next turn with the Moonblast. Well, how do I beat the Corviknight with lefties in the late game? I don't think I do. What we needed to do in this game was play better with around the Dynamax Ferrothorn and the Hydreigon, and I didn't execute that super well. But I think my opponent also executed it really nicely, like the Gengar lead. Gengar Zolt I was not expecting, and they, as I pointed out, did not get baited into going for the max into Dracozolt turn 1, which was a really, really good play. So what made this tough was because there was pretty much something to hit everything for super effective as I kept swapping around, but I also had to play around the Icy Wind pressure. I love the Icy Wind Gengar on the opposing team, because, like, Icy Wind Gengar with Dracozolt could potentially just pick up huge knockouts against what I had in the back. So, maybe what could have been better in this game is we did have Braviary, but, this is why Hydreigon can be so good if you're not up against Fairies, but if you're up against Fairies, you're going to have a tough time. Because if you look at the team, yeah, Pharaoh's the only way we can really deal with it, so I needed to play better with Ferrothorn, I think, because... I didn't identify it as my main win condition quickly enough, and I should have been like, hey, Ferrothorn is what I need to just hard win here. But yeah, I'll just let him just go fire, take the game. Well played, really well played. Calm Mind Sylveon's really cool. Calm Mind Lefties is a really interesting set, because you don't see that very often, right? You expect like Throat Spray, Pixie Plate, maybe Specs occasionally, but you can see like Calm Mind not only obviously helps boost your special attack, but that special defense boost is actually really, really critical as well. So yeah, the Gengars today were neat. It's a cool cool form of speed control. I'm curious on the sets here. Shadow Ball, Icy Wind, Sludge Bomb, Trick Room. Yeah, Gengar is really neat. Classic Zolt with, yeah, it was Lumberry, so that Will-O-Wisp Mist didn't even matter at all. Yeah, it was Bulk Up, so there's no way we were beating Corviknight in this game. Arcanine. This is just a really solid core. Like, it's very similar to, like I mentioned, one of the Players' Cup finalists, Antonio Sanchez-Cervon, used. And the adjustments on this team are neat, too, because now you can have Gengar Dracozolt to, like, put on pressure offensively, and you have good speed control via Gengar's Icy Wind. So I really like the overall composition of that team, and it felt tough to, like, it didn't feel like I had, like, a super consistent strategy from turn 1. Because the thing is, if I lead Dusclops, like, Gengar can just reverse my Trick Rooms, or it could potentially have Taunt, which I don't know about as well. So, yeah, I think we had enough tools to win that one, but I needed a better game plan, and that game plan was to play better around the Ferrothorn, basically. Though, honestly, I do not see how we beat the Corviknight in the late game. Especially with Lumberry, because it's like, Arcanine, I mean, I'd have to burn it, basically, because Pharaoh's not going to cut it, and the thing is, I kind of need special damage, so I would need Hydreigon or Primarine in the late game, but it was really tough to actually, like, guarantee, like, I could conserve those, so, yeah. Corviknight, I think, is definitely kind of a tough matchup, but I think my opponent had a lot of really cool tricks on that last game, so, yeah. That is going to be it with our time with this team. So thank you so much as always for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Huge thank you to Edu for making this team. Once again, you can check him out. Linked in the description below. Feel free to try out the team yourselves. All the details are down there. And I'll see you all soon. All right. Peace.